A little after 7 p.m. on Wednesday the 24th of February. Welcome to all the councillors, in particular welcome to Tracy Carr, new councillor. So good evening, welcome Tracy. I'm not going to do introductions, you'll get the hang of people as we go through it. Welcome to members of the public, to John Willoughby, who's come along for the CA thing, and then we've got Peter and Sally, and we're here for the co-option bit, which is on item 8. So item 8 we'll get to you basically. That's okay?
Oh, yeah, Tracy, sorry.
So we'll just do apologies. This is to receive apologies for absence. I've got 2 absences. Councillor Alf Jewett, which is why I'm chairing this evening. Oh, by the way, just because tonight is classed as a full council meeting, there's no requirement for people to stand. Okay, let's keep seated during the evening. Yeah, so first apologies, Councillor Alf Jewett. Can I have somebody proposed by Vince, seconded by Stan? All those in favour? Yeah, you can vote at this point. Yeah. Are you abstaining, Martin?
I am, yes.
Yeah, so that's all bar Martin abstaining. And the second one is to approve the absence of Councillor Michael Haley, proposed by Vince, seconded by Stan. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Declarations of interest. Members are asked to declare, if required, any disclosable pecuniary interest they may have in respect to items on the agenda. And 2, any other interest they may have in respect to items on the agenda. Martin, you've declared on item 10, and you've been granted this dispensation. And I think you're also going to declare on one of the planning applications, which is 13. Yeah, brilliant, thank you.
Because I know the applicant.
Okay, fine. At the point when we get to there, I think you're staying in the room, aren't you? For
no, I have to leave for the planning application, yes.
Stan?
I'm declaring an interest on 5.
Chairman and members report.
And 4.
Oh, is this in the planning?
Planning. Right. And also planning 10, 11, 12, 13. 10.
Okay.
You'll be out longer than these, Sam.
But just remind us, Stan, when we get to that point, that we've got item 3 is to confirm the minutes of the meeting of the Oakham Town Council held on Wednesday, February the 10th, 2016. There's no points. Proposed by George, seconded by Stan. You'll abstain on this one. All those in favour? So that's one abstention by Tracy, and you abstained because obviously you were not here. Yeah, brilliant. There's a lot in it.
Thank you very much.
Right, item 4, councillor's question. There's none been notified. Is that still the case? Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Item 5 is chairman's and members' reports. Is to receive reports. There's nothing from the chair, so I believe, Joyce, you've got some reports on.
Thank you, Chairman. Report from the Environment Agency, 18th of February. Mr John O'Neill rang from the Environment Agency at Kettering to say they have viewed the blockage in the brook at the rear of Grampian Way and have decided that the whole of the brook from its source to Rookham Water needs attention with overgrown material on its banks. This will be done as soon as possible. Having said that, it might take a few months. The festival committee met on the festival committee met last Monday. They will meet on the first Monday of each month now. Sponsorship is actively sourced. The programme will be available early, so will the advertising. It's all written down, Richard.
All right, thank you.
Report on the Agincourt Oak. The tree and guard were delivered to my house on February the 19th. The tree is about 5 foot. From Windsor Great Park, Windsor Great Park oak tree. It's cloned, and the guard is substantial to say the least. The planting will be near to the Jubilee Oaks in Royce's recreation ground. Security will be in place, and there's little point in discussing this when the proceedings of this meeting is being recorded, because we don't want people knowing what the security is going to be around this guard. I've asked the gardening expert from Oakham in Bloom if he's any suggestions about surrounding the guard with suitable planting. This will be part of the security procedure. When I've got a reply from him, I'll need to purchase some extra compost and shrubs, and that is all. Having said that, while I'm on Royce's recreational ground, the tree in the top corner has been severely pruned. I think we can agree on that, Richard, can't we? And that is no fault of the contractor. The tree next to it, it needs a similar treatment, though not so severely pruned. I suggested some time ago that all these trees should be looked at, and the one nearest the hub should be felled and replaced. That will cost about £100 plus the contractor's time. 2 trees in the avenue need replacing. 1 has died and 1 has disappeared. That's all I'm saying about disappearance. I'll read this out, though I know of 3 people that went on this castle restoration project. They might like to add others. I went the week before. I attended the guided tour around the castle restoration project. By the way, any councillor can go if they notify
Yes.
Robert Clayton.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Tracy, if you want to go on this one next week. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. The tour was extensive and should have lasted 30 minutes. The feedback extended to more than an hour. It started with Castle Lane restoration. The cobbles will be grouted and the grout will be raised so it's easier to walk. There will be a central aisle of paving suitable for wheelchairs down Castle Lane. The boiler room is now being demolished and the public toilets are in the process of building. These will be accessed from outside when there is an event in the grounds, and also accessed from inside when the castle is open. It is stressed it is not public toilets for the town. The badger set is live and protected with suitable bushes and shrubs. The tree work is now completed. The access from Burley Road car park will now be steps for those who have seen the ones at Oakham Canal that Wiles Lodge have put in there. It's sleepers and gravel. It's not a zigzag as they were going to do. There will be no access to this area for the disabled over the hump. The area will be flooded with CCTV cameras. Inside, the work is progressing well. The walls have been lime washed and some horseshoes are now in place. I was criticised for this, but I'll say that it was embargoed. The mural, which had to be kept a secret until it was all authenticated, is now on view and is one of the oldest murals in the UK. When I say mural, it's not a painting, it's a design. And it's there for all to see now that it has been authenticated. The parquet flooring in number 1 court, for those who know number 1 court, yes? The parquet flooring in number 1 court will be revealed and there is an area of wattle walling. The fireplace will be revealed and the High Sheriff's outfit will be displayed. I did query that, whether it was a gentleman or a lady. Number one court will house hands-on equipment for use of schools. The castle will be closed on Tuesdays and open only, although it's open, it will only be open for school visits. There's a great emphasis on education. The grand opening will be bank holiday weekend, medieval themed. The hue and cry will take place in the High Street. Full-on exposure for the media is expected. You'd expect me to ask this. We even had the cesspit and the soakaway explained and all the drains. Thank you for listening. That's my lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Sorry, Martin, you want to make a report?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to Councillor Lucas's very comprehensive and informative report, because saved me saying all that. There was, Councillor Lucas mentioned the mural or design. It's quite significant because it's now being told to us that it's possibly the only existing Norman decoration in England or even the UK. There's a well being found as well, which they're looking into whether that is ancient. Mrs. Lucas forgot to mention that there's going to be additional lighting down Castle Lane, which will make the place a bit more visible for nighttime activities, because we can probably remember when late night shopping used to use it, they used to have to put up floodlights and things. But overall, from what we learnt today, the project seems to be going very well, and it's well, what we saw and what we can't show the public is it's splendid.
Brilliant.
And they're doing a grand job.
Thank you, Martin. Michael, you
One small addition, the paving stones down the centre of Castle Lane.
That's right, I know, Richard. Sorry. Go on.
Are going to be York stone,
Yes.
and the lights, the additional lights in Castle Lane that Martin just referred to, are going to be in the ground.
Yes, they are. Sorry.
Just those two things.
I mean, I couldn't put everything down.
Okay, no, I know that. Well, we're
Quite
trying to
attractive.
Okay, right. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I just want to give the clerk an opportunity to follow that. There's no other. I don't know if any other councillors.
It's a comprehensive report.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're on to the clerk. If anybody's no further questions, we'll go to the clerk's report.
Okay, everybody, all got a copy of this in front of you. Very, very briefly, Alison and I will be at a training event on Monday the 29th, so the office will be closed from about 11:30. It's a clerk's training course on Monday afternoon at Anstey. Just a reminder, I keep reminding you about the Mayor's charity event on the 6th of April. Also, what I will ask you to note is that all the financial transactions for this are not part of the Town Council's accounts. Okay, the Mayor's charity account is completely separate. The Chairman's Fund is part of the Council's accounts, the Mayor's charity isn't. So we're keeping records of ins and outs, if anybody wants to see those, then obviously just come along and we can show you what's coming in and what's going out. Play area inspections, just to sort of say that we'll be instructing Wixty to carry 4 of those out for the same cost as has been previously at £135. That's for 3 areas: Royce's, Recreation Ground, Cuts Close and Willow Crescent. And just very briefly, lastly, Parish Council 4 obviously members who didn't attend or weren't able to attend that because of a civic event. You've got the link there to the minutes. I can supply that electronically to you if you want. One issue that has been mentioned a few times to you was street lighting, and a report is going to Cabinet in a few weeks' time, so we'll wait and see what comes out of that.
Yeah, that's that bit. Item 7, I'm quite 7 now. Yeah. Okay, right. Item 7, deputation by members of the public. I don't think we have any deputations. When we get to the citizen advice bit, John's here from the CA. When we get to that bit, if any members have any questions about that report, item 10, I'm going to allow John to address or answer any questions that come up. Okay. Okay. What we're going to do is we will go to the co-options next. So what we're going to do is I'm going to propose from the chair that we move item 8, which is the working group strategy. Propose that we move that to after the CA, after 10. So seconded by Stan. All those in favour of moving 8? Unanimous, thank you very much. So that goes down to there. So what we're going to go into now is we're going to go on to item 9, which is the co-option of new members. Now we've looked into the rules and regulations on this, and what it is that obviously we had Peter and Sally came along to the interviews. They're the two candidates that were mentioned or spoken to by the councillors at the interviews. The recommendations from that group is that there's very strong candidates, and we have 2 vacancies and 2 candidates, and I am within powers to nominate from the chair both candidates at the same time, rather than doing them individually. So if the council are happy with this, so anybody fight back if they're not, that from the chair can propose that Oakham North East is Sally Ann Wadsworth, and Oakham North West is Peter Ind. Right, thank you. Apologies, Peter. So proposal from the chair, that is what we're proposing. Martin.
I'll accept that, but I just wanted to make a quick comment on the co-option process. I don't mind standing, and I know when I sat down I shut up. It's practice.
Carry on.
Yes, I was slightly disappointed with the procedure of the co-options, the fact that most members weren't consulted, and in future I would hope that we wouldn't have co-options, but if it does happen again, I felt that being notified on the Monday afternoonish lunchtime for a meeting the following evening, particularly when it was the Aldi planning application, was highly inappropriate. I am happy for the vote to go together, because since I sent my email I have changed my mind on one of the actions I said, but I think, without mentioning names, because I didn't put names originally, I think it was highly inappropriate for a member of the interview panel to leave this room to approach one of the people being interviewed immediately afterwards.
Okay, well thank you, Martin. I support your comments there, that in actual fact that the short notice of when we were going to do the interviews, and that was because I think we leapt on the opportunity, so apologies for that. And the reason there was short notice, just to explain to members, because Martin's raised it, is because we were waiting for both candidates to confirm their availability, so that's why it was late. But so the proposal from the chair was as was.
Just one thing to add.
Thank you, sir.
Can I just say that the previous interview, which went out in time, one member turned up, which was Martin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, that's cool. Good point. So my proposal from the chair then is Sally Ann Wadsworth for the Oakham North East, Peter Ind for Oakham North West. Any seconded? Seconded by Martin. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Now, what we can do now is we can suspend the meeting, and if this is up to yourselves, Peter and Sally, if you wanted to sign your papers of office now with the clerk, it means you could join the meeting and then help make decisions on the remaining agenda items. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm going to suspend the meeting. It's now...
Bring your chairs, though. You'll have to bring your chairs.
Just like that there. And the item we're going to... let me just say welcome to Peter and Sally Ann.
Yes,
Sally.
sorry.
Is it Sally Ann?
It is Sally Ann. I don't like being called Sally.
Okay.
Welcome to Peter and Sally Ann.
I quite like being called Martin.
Okay, item 10 is the Citizens Advice Rutland funding. This is to consider the report, which is Martin's report. Any comments or observations? I'm going to look around the table and see if we've got any comments or observations. I'll come to you in a minute, Martin. Because I'll look left to right. So, anybody got any comments or observations? No? Alright, Martin, do you want to make a comment?
Yeah, for the benefit of the new members, because they obviously weren't here for the first time this come to council when I was a representative for the Citizens Advice. We used to grant fund for a period of time, but that stopped. And then we found that there is a local government act which says that we can actually fund the Citizens Advice. But at the last meeting it was a little bit vague, possibly my fault or someone's fault, on what the money was to be used for. So we've gone away, spoken to the Citizens Advice, and they've come up with 2 ideas that they would like to support from the town council, if that's the right word to say, financial support, and we're perfectly within the law to do that, but you know, you could object.
Okay.
So you have, if you don't think that it's a worthy cause, and there is a gentleman here, Mr. Willoughby, who can answer the questions that I'm not really able to answer, like things like what are the leaflets going to help and that sort of thing.
Thank you, Martin. Anybody got any questions or any observations? Dan?
I mean this in a kind way. I look at your accounts, which look very, very healthy. Why do you need money from us?
We're a registered charity.
You see, I can't hear that because I can't lip read.
Come over here.
Yeah, it's moving around. Yeah, no.
Where are you?
Sit in.
I'm assuming that most of you have got a reasonable knowledge of citizens' advice. We are a registered charity, and to comply with the Charity Commission, they expect us to always have at least reserves of, which equate to 6 months of our income each year, and therefore, I mean, that's why we need reserves of where we are. Within this current financial year, we're actually working to a deficit budget, and the outturn is projected to be about 13,000 deficit, i.e. expenditure over income this year.
Okay.
Because we are looking at reduced funding coming in from various sources where we've had it before, principally with regards to providing the outreach service at the Kendry Barracks and St George's Barracks and things like that. So we are looking to sort of open up new ways. And apart from the report that Martin kindly did on our behalf, I've also written to the council. You should have a copy, because what we're trying to do is make our service more accessible at the same time, such as introducing web chat via our website, because clearly, you know, not everyone can get into us during our current working hours, and so the training is required to train people to be able to use this new access method as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Michael.
Can I add a rider to Stan's question?
Yeah,
that, the cash at bank went up 50% in this last year on these documents.
They did, and that was principally down to, I'm assuming you're all familiar with For Rutland in Rutland, which previously, from their various, they used to hold the closed sale, that primarily used to go to support the Macmillan cancer. When Macmillan effectively pulled out of Rutland, and we were stepping in to provide that service, providing advice and information with regards to people with cancer, long-term health conditions and things like that, they agreed that the funding that previously went to Macmillan would come to us, and they fund one post. Now what happened was all that money came in, and it's actually now being used to fund that post throughout this year. So it was just a one-off.
So
they will be continuing to fund us on an annual basis, but it was just how the funding came at the end of that financial year. But you'll find throughout this year that will be reserved, that will be reduced. But as they do fundraising events through the year, that money will sort of come in and be topped up. But it's a restricted fund. We can only use it to fund that one post.
But you, without that, you wouldn't have had reserves of 50%.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Up on the face of it.
Yeah.
And do you still aim to claw back to getting 50%?
No. I mean, the ideal is 6 months, but a lot of offices aren't actually achieving that at the moment. But we're not looking to generate. What we want to do is get back to a break-even basis on an annual break-even basis annually. And as I say, this year we're in a deficit position, notwithstanding the additional funds. But sometimes it's a matter of cash flow, and that's why perhaps it looks like we made a significant surplus last year, which isn't the case this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy.
Can I make one observation and ask one question?
Yeah, fine.
One observation is, I think the information on the second page around the value for money, so for every pound invested and what we would expect for return is really good, because if you were commissioning something, that's the first thing that commissioners are really interested in, so that was very useful. But also in your first page is where you've piloted the Citizens Advice, the web chat and email services, and you said it's been very popular. I'm just wondering if you have got any figures of what the increase has been.
Yeah,
in terms of
I haven't. Often when Citizens Advice nationally look to introduce a new service, funding is available from them to actually pilot it. At the time, because of other things that were going on in Oakham office, they didn't apply to Citizens Advice to be one of the pilot bureau.
Okay.
The nearest pilot bureau is Lincoln.
Okay.
And before I've only been employed at the Rutland office since June last year, and before that I was working actually out of Lincoln. And so, but it's the full report on the first year's outcomes from the web chart pilot will be due sometime at the end of March. But these are some initial observations that it has been well received. Before we used to offer email, but email is very elongated because they may email and then we want more information, whereas web chat is instant for those who used it.
Okay, well, that's answer that. Well, thank you very much for that. Any other questions or observations we go around? Peter?
Yes, thank you. I think you provide a very valuable service, and I think we're fortunate in Oakham in that the service is situated in the town, and I think from that point of view, what is being proposed is fairly modest, so I totally support it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, anything else? Right, Martin, did you want to make a
You want me
proposal?
to go through the proposal?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your document, so did you want to make the proposal to see if...
Yeah, as I read it out, Oakham Town Council will contribute towards the Citizens Advice Rutland funding for the financial year of 2016 to 2017.
Yeah.
So it's not any figure, that's just getting an agreement that you want to fund. So if somebody would like to second it.
Yeah. But the indicative figures are that it'd be £5,000 or £1,500.
Yeah, we come to that. If people were minded to support them, then we would come to those as individual.
Okay, proposed by Martin that we support the CA. That's been seconded by Stan. All those in favour that we support the CA, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Right.
So is there a second proposal then?
Well, first of all, we consider item A, which is Oakham Town Council agreed to fund a 6-month training officer post to enhance the competency levels of volunteers, advisors, and to train a debt and welfare rights specialist costing £5,000.
So that's the proposal, seconded by Jasmine. All those in favour? That's unanimous as well.
Okay, so that one is through, that one is
yeah.
through.
And third one?
And the proposal B is Oakham Town Council agreed to fund a display stand and associated marketing material to get knowledge of the service into the community, costing £1,500.
Proposal by Martin, seconded by Stan. All those in favour? That's unanimous as well.
We got there in the end. Thank you very much for supporting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say to CA that they would be very welcome to have an information stand at any of the band concerts?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get Martin to communicate that through and liaise through the dates perhaps. Or one of our team. But yeah, okay, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously you don't have to hang around there.
So we're contributing a total of £6,500.
Thank you very much.
That's very good, isn't it?
Brilliant, thank you Martin as well. Good report.
We got there in the end.
Right, we're going to go back now to item 8, which is the working group's strategy assurance. This is to do with the council's been initiated by Councillor Haley. These documents here, as what I was asked to produce, are from the Promotions Publicity Working Group strategy. So I'll take any comments or observations before we propose that we accept these. So Martin, you wanted to say something, I know that.
I don't want to be first if anybody else has comments. Okay, sorry, some are not going to be liked by you, but most of them are quite constructive. I'm slightly astonished by item number 7, where we now seem to have jumped up for an advert in the Rutland Times. Not that I'm knocking them, but for now over £1,000. That must be the highest fee.
It's not.
Sorry?
It's not.
It says there £903.90 plus VAT.
But the council claims VAT back, Martin.
I know, but it's still nearly £1,000, isn't it? Give or take. I just find that there needs to be more negotiation on the cost of these adverts.
You said this to me previously, and in actual fact, I went back to the papers to Janet and sort of said, we're looking at doing, if we did X amount of adverts this year, we need a keener price because this is what the council are asking for. So that price that they've quoted this year for those 10 is cheaper than the individual prices they quoted us and charged us last year.
It just seems a lot of money.
It is a lot of money,
for something that has a low distribution as well.
Yeah.
We would be better off looking at alternatives, even if it was the rural trader or in and around Oakham that goes to every single house. The Rutland Times is not going to every single house.
Okay, yeah.
So that's just my comment on that.
Thank you.
The other thing is I don't mind offering to help with things, but I was a bit surprised to see my name in on number 6. Am I missing something that I was...
Well, it's something I picked up when we had the meeting, when we had the council surgery, that I thought I heard Vince saying that he'd asked you to get some details together to do with the list associated with the beacon thing. So I just automatically assumed that you were helping.
Well, I'm offering to help if I'm required on the night.
Yeah. So that's all that
I
is.
just wondered if I missed something.
No, I just assumed that you were helping.
Then on to the item 5 on B, whatever that number is. I will say it, I think that when I was on the promotions of working group, I pointed out DG Music, and they claim to have professionals, and without naming publicly the band here, I think £500 is absolutely outrageous. That's my personal opinion. I'm not too keen on t-shirts further down at £50. I don't believe we are a corporate organisation in the sense we're not Burger King, Tesco's or whatever. We are councillors, and I know there was a suggestion they might be polo shirts, but I don't look very attractive in a t-shirt, so I wouldn't be too keen on wearing one.
Okay.
Our badges, I think, are good enough.
Right, okay.
So that's my comment on that. Now, we skip through lots and lots, and I did point this out to you. You said you hadn't overlooked it, but it's not on your plan, and I am constantly asked by retailers, and then we're told that it's the logistics for turning on the Christmas lights. Now, my suggestion is that the working group consider that the town lights go on when they do, but the Christmas tree light could possibly wait until the late night Christmas event where we could have a choir like Stanford or whatever, and then it's a man, like before, up the ladder, plugging them in.
I can answer that. The light, I agree with you. The switch on thing, where we pay this figure, that's already built into the agreed contract with Light, which is why it's not on here. And I wasn't going to tease that out because the PPWG hasn't actually discussed late night shopping in detail, and it's already been mentioned to me that we should be doing the light switch on late night shopping. I agree with it. I was going to probably go down that route, so I haven't had to put it into a budget here because that money that's used for the actual, the man at the ladder, if you like, that's already been agreed by council in the contract with Light.
Yeah. But I would be more happy, and I think some of the retailers, because they're not open when they do it on the Sunday night, and I think the lights can go on as normal, because if you see Stanford, they do put the tree on and the lights, and the man, like me, I'm quite observant, you see the man going down with the cherry picker, turning them on so that the people are watching the tree. But to me, it would be a much nicer feature if the tree was the focus point at the late night shopping. It's just mine.
No, I like it. Thank you. I don't disagree once again. I'm going to come to Joyce.
Okay. Just that I have had second thoughts about t-shirts, and I will discuss it at the next PP.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No. Right. Well,
Can I just say?
Yes.
I think what Martin has said makes sense.
Okay, no.
Which bit? All of it.
Yeah. Fine. So the proposal, so these documents, it actually allocates budgets, but even though it mentions t-shirts in there, we can knock it on there. So
well, I've got another suggestion.
Okay, have a look. So
tattoos.
Tattoo.
Yeah, but I think if the tea people want some protection, then maybe we could look at a tabard for people making tea or something.
No, thank you.
It'll be discussed.
Thank you. The proposal from the chair, because obviously it's my working document, is that because this is in line with the council strategy, is that the town that we approve these strategy documents. That's the proposal. Seconded by Joyce. All those in favour?
Can I just confirm we're not approving the expenditure at this stage? We're not.
No, I mean basically what these documents do, Martin, is allow the promotions working group to come to me to spend those sums of money.
But then I can't approve
But
it
we will
because
still.
of the
But the
advertising.
PPWG.
In line with what is agreed, has been agreed in financial regulations.
Yeah. This is all this is on the back of the financial regulations. So I was asked to put the PPWG budgets into these formats to go into.
I understand, but what you're saying then is that you can go away, and I'm not saying you're going to do it, but you can go away from the meeting this evening and you can spend all that money on advertising, T-shirts and whatever.
Yeah.
So in that way I can't support
No, that's
it.
fine. Well, we're not going to do that, but I proposed it. It's seconded by Joyce. All those in favour? So that's one abstention or one against, Martin?
Well, I would have liked to have been able to amend it with the approval of members like they do at RCC if we felt we didn't want T-shirts or that advertising
So
is
you're
too much.
abstaining or against?
I will vote against it. So.
Let me just assure you, so I think it was just one against, Jasmine, you were for it, I think. Just to confirm that the points that Martin's raised, that the PPWG, which at the moment consists of Vince, myself and Joyce, before we actually finalise anything we do here, we will come back, even though we've now been given a green light to spend a budget that's already in the financial regulations, we will let all the council know that what the final decision is as well, alright? So it sounds like we're putting the cart before the horse, but we're not, okay? So don't worry, I've heard your phrase.
But then no, I do worry because no disrespect to Richard, but he says that gives the authority for you to go to him and spend that money.
Which is what is in the financial regulations.
Yeah, which Adam has not made very clear to people that they now have the authority to spend that.
Well, it's only a council agreement. It's what the council have told it. Every department within the council, not just ours, but all the other departments have got to do exactly the same.
I think we should have went through if other people had issues.
I appreciate it. Let's
yeah,
put,
sorry, we'll move
put a
on.
bit of faith in it. Let's move on. Thank you very much, Martin. Let's see if we can.
We can change it later next year.
Item 11 is the grounds maintenance contract. This is to consider report whether to extend the contract with Corrie for 1 year. As we know, we get exceptional service from Corrie. So there's been no questions raised. So, Martin?
Yeah, I'm sorry to speak again. I'm against giving them a contract for the next year because we are legally required to tender for these large sums of money. I don't mind doing it by a month thing, but I think we should go out to tender as was agreed. I'm slightly disappointed that we weren't given the correct information at the outset, and I don't understand why we actually want to dodge the European sort of directives on this. Maybe it does cause a bit more red tape and fuss, but to me I don't believe that it takes a year to change the wording from 4 years to 3 years, and I think we should go out to tender from today, and we say to Corrie, are they willing to do it month by month, not for the whole year, because it goes against the rules of tendering.
Okay.
There's nothing in their agreement to say that they're entitled for a continuation. It's a specific set date when their contract ends, so we would be giving them...
I've got the message, I'm just... Right, what also happening is the clerk's using a regulation, there we go, a regulation 11.1A for...
Yeah, he could use it, but I'm saying I object to it.
No, that's fine. Michael, yeah, shoot.
There's probably a middle ground between those two positions. Monthly to somebody, that doesn't sound like enough of a commitment. A year sounds too much in the circumstances. There must be a point between those two.
For 3 months.
All right, we'll start somewhere.
Well, anyway, okay, Joyce.
If we go for a shorter length of time, of course, it might be more money that they'll ask for. The cheapest way is to go for the full 12 Am I right in that?
Likely to be. Well,
Yes.
likely.
Sorry, I should be asking.
Let's Richard.
If I can just sort of clarify this, what you've got there is a quotation of let's say £23,000. There's no point going, a few pennies here. Okay, that is spread evenly.
Yes.
We are invoiced evenly over the course of the year. However, as you are all aware, the majority of the work takes place over the summer months. Okay, that is when the additional cuts are put in at Cuts Close and at Royce's. So during the winter, there is no grass cutting at all. So it's very, very loaded, the work over the summer months. Now, if members want to go with the idea of, say, from March to October, that is when the bulk of that cost will be incurred.
So it'll be more expensive.
Can we just add that, of course, they also litter pick?
Yeah, well, the litter picks happen throughout the year,
Yeah.
but the main cost, it will be the grass cutting,
Yeah.
which happens. All of the grass cutting happens during the summer months.
Yes.
None of it happens from October onwards.
No.
Right, let me come around the table. I'm going to go over to Tracy.
How long does the procurement process take? Because I think it's a risky strategy even going to 3 months or 6 months, because to actually line up the tenders, to do the tendering process and the commissioning process properly, that takes, in my experience, longer than 3 months.
Okay.
So I think it's a risky strategy, so I'm supporting
It doesn't
12 months.
Stan.
Well, can I suggest that perhaps what we should consider doing, because everybody might not be for it, but some of our members might be, we just have a vote to accept it. And we either vote for it or we vote against.
Test it. Okay. From the chair, I will. I'll come to you, Mark, before we get to the next bit. From the chair, a recommendation and proposal that the current grounds maintenance contract with Corrie Environment, due to expire on March 31st, is extended for 1 year. That's a proposal. Before we get a seconder, Martin, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I would like to record my disappointment, the fact that this was not brought to council in time. Okay. We know when the contract's going to end, so this should have come to council, possibly last year, not at the last minute. And
can you make sure those comments are recorded, please, Richard? So the proposal is that we accept it for a 12-month extension, seconded by...
Can we, before we go into full proposing and seconding, can we have a caveat that this is reviewed
with this year?
Within the next 6 months?
Yes, totally.
So the caveat would be we accept the extension, however,
we must go out to tender
within the next...
Could we not set the dates for tendering? Because we could start tendering next week to get the date, because I don't want to be at the situation. Years go quickly. We've been on this council 8 months. I don't want to be next March saying we haven't done it.
No,
so we've set a date this evening.
Yes, no, the proposal is that we accept it, we extend it for 1 year with the caveat that the office, the clerk and the assistant clerk begin the tendering process from 2017. So in other words, they start it straight away. Let's not wait till the last minute.
Yeah. Really.
So are you still prepared to second that, Martin?
I will.
So seconded by Martin. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
We need to get these things sorted.
Okay. 12 is the accounting software and external preparation. This is Councillor Michael Elliott. Hopefully everybody's read. Yeah, in fact, maybe everybody's read the report. And does anybody have any comments or questions for Michael? Or does Michael just have to propose that we accept it? So let's see. Let's go around the table. Looking around, Martin is first.
Just for a change.
You know you want me.
Yeah. I'm disappointed that this has been left so late. We had recommendations in a costly report at the beginning of our financial year, and I have, obviously as members know, spoken to this company and got some reassurances, and they were very impressed with the two Michaels that have been working on it and our clerk, and I think we have to unfortunately swallow the cost of setting up. I find it totally nonsense that town council accounting systems are any different from any other. Somebody's going to come in here and sit, and then to heavens, any accounting software would have been done, but I don't want to delay it because we need to get this done so that next year Richard can click a button and say, here is our accounts.
Yeah.
that's going to take a big pressure off of Richard, but I'm disappointed that it's only come into council now when we paid thousands of pounds for the recommendation.
Okay. No, thank you. Right, that's good point. Michael, did you want to say anything? Or if nobody's got any other questions, did you want to propose that it be accepted?
Well, perhaps it's easiest to deal with that point that's just been raised.
Thank you.
I don't think we did pay thousands of pounds for a recommendation. We paid streets last year for a number of things, one of which was to clarify the correctness of the annual return for the year ended March 2015. Along that route they made recommendations, one of which was that the account software should be upgraded. The second thing to say is that that upgrade should have happened a long time ago, and it makes it, the present one makes it more difficult for the clerk and the assistant clerk to efficiently and quickly get out a set of accounts that's needed. As to why we haven't done it before, we have been working on the working group's been working on other aspects of the recommendations that we made, and I think probably it would be most appropriate if the clerk, if Richard now outlines, he may have done separately with Martin, why the costs are as they are, including the fact that there are different levels of these software packages for different sized councils.
Okay.
I'm
informative.
I'm fine that if Richard doesn't, if he wants to do it for other people, but I have all the answers being given to me. But one of the things I do question, and Michael's here to answer it, I was told that these are modules, and I know we can add them later, and I'm all for saving money if we don't need something. I don't personally believe that we need the phased budgets, because that is just making things look, if I put it in my simplistic terms, it makes things, I don't know, it's not a necessity. The other thing is the sales ledger with invoicing. We issue, as far as I know, probably half a dozen invoices at the moment a year, and they're not anything more than £100. So in my view is that at this stage we could save, if I'm wrong about the phased budget, she explained it in detail to me, but I don't see the necessity. So we could actually save the £600 on removing those two models at this stage. It doesn't prevent us, if we are going to go crazy invoicing down the line, producing them.
Okay.
Anyway, we had Sage, which is going to stay as the payrolls. I believe Sage can do invoicing and that. We're going to scrap Scribe, I've been told, because it's crap. That's my words, not the part. So I just think that we could save £600 there.
Let's see what Vince has to say.
In view of the proposed takeover of the cemetery and various other areas of the town, I think the future-proofing of this software would be beneficial for the town council. So therefore my recommendation would be...
There is separate software, Vince, for the cemetery.
Yeah, but it's invoicing and things like that.
But that's included in a package.
This is the thing. I think it's future-proofed. So I would be proposing that we accept that.
Okay, so I'm going to accept that Vince has proposed that the recommendations, is that both recommendation 1 and recommendation... Let's do recommendation 1. Oakham Town Council purchases the Amiga Financial Director software from Realtas and cost stated. Right, so that's the recommendation for Vince.
It may be helpful just to deal with the 2 points that Martin raised before you do that.
You can, well, we've got the recommendations, so you can address those now before we get a second.
Sorry.
First of all, I think it's fair to say that people who sell software packages construct them in a different way. We could have had and therefore the financial records have been transferred from just being cash based into receipts and payments based, i.e. Income and expenditure based, and so timing and portions have to come in. £750 to do the work is 1 or 2 days from the streets. Richard has to be part of that and understand that, and from that will prepare the annual return based on the accounts. I think it's we came to the view that it's a very fair value for money answer to two major things coming at the same time, and without looking backwards, it's just the best thing to do at this time in 2016.
Okay. I'm going to come around the table. Has anybody got any other observations or comments? Did you want to come back, Martin? I saw you saying.
Yeah, I just, well, obviously I will vote against
Okay.
it because I'm
Proposed by...
sorry, can I
yeah.
just finish?
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Let's finish. I just find it's unacceptable because this has no relation to the new software. This is accounts that have been going on since last April, and if you've got to bring people in, I just don't see that there's been any change from last year, and that's unacceptable in my opinion.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I'm gonna, before I come over to Vincent and Stan, I'm just going to come to Tracy.
I just want to know what the consequence of not doing it is.
Not doing what?
Not paying.
Not having somebody
coming in. What is the consequence?
The consequence is the accounts would have to be prepared by the clerk and the assistant clerk, and then transferred into the council's annual return, and that requires a mindset of taking them out of the normal day-to-day running.
Okay.
And it's for anybody doing a set of accounts, which is a historical document, it's ISPAC time, and you have to, it's a different mindset because it's got to be right, statutory, and so on. Other aspects of all the accounting are teamwork. We'll try this way, we'll try that way. That's not the case wherever financial accounts are being done.
Okay.
And in the circumstances of the time, it seems that common sense and the value for money solution.
Martin, last time for...
Yeah, the last time. Now, this is where it comes up that the suggestion has been put that it is the clerk's job. It is the clerk's job. He is the proper officer. Now, yes,
right.
but we should not be then expected to pay for someone else to come and do the job. It's been done for many years by the clerk. What concerns me as well is that tonight we authorised £750. We know there was an issue with using streets before, which caused a bit of friction because they needed extra time and it wasn't brought to this council for approval. So that's another reason I'm not happy that that figure seems very, very reasonable. The workload hasn't changed from last year, and I fear that people are going to get upset for the fact that streets are going to say we've got to do some extra work, we need another £500–600, and then it's going to be considered as an emergency and it goes ahead like last time. So I'm not against getting our accounts properly after the disaster of last year, but I'm not happy that we're at the situation where we pay for people to do it and we're now paying on top to get that job done.
Thank you, Martin. Stan,
can I say, with respect, that I've listened to what Michael has said, and it really makes sense to me. So I'm prepared to second.
Vince, are you still happy to propose that we go with 2?
Absolutely.
Right, proposed 2. Sorry, that the council engages streets accounts to produce the 2015-16 accounts to the council at a cost of £750 plus VAT, which will then be used to prepare the statutory accounting statements for approval by the council. Seconded by Stan. All those in favour? All those against? 2 against.
I do wish I could find a job where I can cherry pick what I can and can't do. It's in the contract. We have that thrusted into our face.
Sorry,
Joyce.
I can't hear. Where are we up to?
Right, that's been approved. So we're just moving on. Martin was just echoing his concerns, and Martin, thank you very much. We do acknowledge your concerns. Item 13 is the parking review, Appendix F. Has anybody got any comments or observations? Anything I noticed that... Oh, hello, that was off. Anything I noticed I was pleased to acknowledge was that the original taxi rank moving on to outside Furnace is now gone onto Market Street, so I was quite pleased about that because we had pushed that back. It's on the High Street the taxi rank is, or about putting it onto Market Street, I thought.
It's on the High Street with danger of people getting on.
Yeah, so they're now putting the taxi rank onto Market Street as opposed to originally they wanted to put it outside Furnace. Anyway, I'll pass it around the table. Anybody got any observations or comments? Looking round.
Are we doing one at a time as they expect us?
I'm gonna get initial feedback and then we'll go through each one. But let's just get feedback.
Just clarify where we are on this. is this something we're tending to support, or have we got to look into it? Or
we can give feedback. So we've been given like a consultation by Rutland County Council with what their intention is. We can give them their opinion on why we should or should not accept what they're saying. The hope is that they would listen to what we say. So, yeah, does that help clarify?
Yes. Can I just follow on then?
Of course, can, yes.
In Uppingham, where I was previously a resident, we had the sharing of resident bays and general parking. It wasn't very popular initially, but it was a good way of rationing the very limited spaces. I noticed this is a proposal for a couple of streets here.
RCC have obviously stolen it from Uppingham then. So.
Yes, I mean, I think there'll be howls of protest, but I think it's something that the Town Council should investigate because it's part of making it attractive for people to come to the town if they can park easily.
Okay, brilliant. Mark, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just wondered how we were going to do it, because if you remember it was sent back last time because we didn't comment.
Yes,
and then we had that. We're fortunate it's a few less, but I only have one comment on one, but I just wanted to know how you were going to do it.
What I'm going to do is, from the chair, what I'll do is we'll pick each one off. So what we'll do is we'll look at 36, where it says Oakham Station Road, outside the station, taxi drivers, that on there. So line 36 on that purple sheet. Has anybody got any observations or comments they feel that the council should make?
No.
No?
That's a good idea.
So our response to the RCC is that we acknowledge that as a good idea?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 37 then, anybody got any observations, comments on there? Martin?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about moving the blue badge bays, particularly on a market day, because there is often market vans and cars parked where they're proposing to move it up.
What are you concerned about where they're moving it to?
Yeah, I don't think they should be moved, because
your rationale is?
On the market days, the market traders are parked on double yellow lines there, and no one enforces it, and where would the disabled blue badge people park?
So the feedback from the council would be there that if they move the disabled bays, that they need to make sure they police that on market days.
Yes, so that the people aren't stranded.
Yes.
Well, that's what we need to keep it clear. Okay. So the comment is that they police those.
Okay, well that's the general. Yeah, I mean they're doing that because obviously the taxi rank is looking at moving onto Station Road, so they've got to make room on Station Road. That's why they're moving it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but we can pass back the comment that as long as they make sure that other people do not abuse the disabled parking.
Yeah, because it's from Murray's, isn't it, towards the post office, and they
Anybody else got any comments on 37? If no,
no.
Right, I think we've noted that one.
As long as they're not used disabled blue badge.
Yeah, yes. 38, the Long Row resident bays. Any observations or comments? No? Does the council think that's a good idea? That becomes a 2-hour waiting.
I've got a concern over that, to be fair, 2 hours, because that is a short. That shop will suffer.
Long Row.
So the 3 shops actually, will potentially suffer, and it will cause you. It will move yet another bottleneck problem elsewhere. And bear in mind that Cold Everton Road is quite a main thoroughfare.
Yes.
You will create a problem. So I would actually not support
2 hours.
2 hours. It needs to. Well, no, it needs to be a drop-off and pick-up point. So 30 minutes max.
Okay.
You need to have the throughput of traffic to support the local businesses.
Okay, thank you. So they're
these are the car park, isn't it? They're talking about.
No, it's the road.
No, it's the road.
It's on Long Row.
Yeah.
So where it says residence bays, so I think in Long Row, is it that? Because they didn't give us a plan for this, have they? So
well, I think what it is.
Car park,
thank you. Can we? Yeah, I was going to say we need to sort of try and control the chat. Michael, you're going to say something.
I'm just not clear what since the difference between now and then will be.
If it's the Long Row, actually on the road,
yes,
then that needs, in my opinion, that is what's used to drop off a pick-up from the local shops.
Right.
If it is the car park that Martin's alluding to,
it's resident bays.
It's the resident bays
which are on the road.
They've not given us any information.
So if it is one, then I won't support it. But if it's further up, then obviously it's going to be a different comment.
Okay,
Yes.
Peter's
Chairman, it's going back to my original point. It's making residence bays dual purpose.
Yeah.
It means the general public can park in the residence
Because
bays.
previously residents couldn't park, because previously public couldn't park at all in resident bays, could they? But
No.
here they're sharing it, so that's right, this is an
Right.
improvement. Right, so that's right, yeah, I would support that.
That's what I was trying
Yes, sorry Michael, yes, you're right. Yes, thank you Peter for helping clarify that. I think these are the resident bays which are up almost towards Poaching's end.
Maybe.
Yes.
No,
Yes. So if we make sure
If
we...
that's the case, I'll withdraw my comment.
Okay, so
it wasn't clear enough, sorry.
So in that case the council would support that use of resident bays as dual purpose.
Yes.
Okay. 45 is short stay car parks, Church Street, season ticket holders. This is where you can now, season ticket holders to use Brook Road and Church Street in excess of 4 hours, regardless of a no return clause. So it sounds like an improvement. Any comments or observations?
I don't really understand it.
Well, this one actually, sorry,
Yeah, no, I'll
this
come
one
back to
did actually come up before, and
Yes.
I can't quite remember what we commented, because I think the residents wanted it that they could use it all the time, wasn't it, the Church Street car park? And I think we said no, that they couldn't. So obviously somebody's come back with the suggestion that it's now only 4 hours,
Right.
if I'm remembering right.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Peter was going to say something.
Well, I mean, the only concern I would have, and again, I don't want to keep quoting Uppingham, but the short stay car park on market days gets very much used. And I think there's a danger if you allow excess use, you could have a conflict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tracy, do you know?
Yeah, I was just going to make a point about the, maybe it's me not clear about the Church Street one, the season ticket holders. I'm assuming that their season ticket holders are also people who work in the town and park there all day while they work.
Yeah.
I'm just considering in terms of the use of the church, it's very popular for weddings and funerals and all sorts of things. And if you can't park near to get into the church for when you're using it, because people are parking there either because, because the season ticket holders and they're at work, I just think that makes it difficult to park there.
Yeah.
I think that's not big enough anyway.
I'll walk around Joyce and then come round this way. So Joyce first.
I agree with what Tracy's just said, and Martin is correct that there were some people not too long ago at this council who wanted to use the car park all day.
Right.
Can you enlighten me
I think
on
it
that?
was in relation to
Residents.
residents in Dean Street.
That's right.
The change of
Yes.
and that's how that proposal is. Could they use the Church Street car park on a
That's
full-time
right.
basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the proposal that's obviously been turned down about residents using it, because it is a very, they're not long-term car parks, and they are very thoroughly
Yes.
used by people who come in to
Yeah.
do shopping and things. And I think by blocking the spaces for 4 hours because someone, I don't understand what these season ticket things are. I just think that you're blocking it for 4 hours when most people who go there, I think, probably are only there for about an hour at the most. They're both very busy.
Sorry. Yeah.
Certainly really to reinforce what Tracy said. It isn't, I mean, the church is used for a lot of different things, but it is the car park that is the most used for the centre of the town.
Okay.
So what short walk through to the markets, short everywhere.
Yeah, it is,
What comment are we feeling about them? That we feel
support it.
we won't support it. We believe it needs to be for.
I think Peter was right. So
Yeah.
they need to come and go and use that.
Yeah.
Probably the same comment we put on it for the residents when they were
Happy with
requesting.
that?
Well, I mean, all I've got ready is council does not support this proposal as it would block spaces.
Yes, it could become a car park for residents.
It would reduce the footfall for the town's traffic.
and
For
potentially
shoppers.
reduce.
Yeah.
Footfall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potentially reduce
people working who are also.
We have long stay cars.
Okay.
They
46.
don't like using Westgate.
New Street, John Street, resident bays to change to become shared 1 hour limited waiting and residents.
Yes.
That is reasonable, isn't it?
Yes.
So that That's a good use of resident bays.
Yes.
Presumably the residents are at work during the day.
Yes.
So 47 Melton Road, limited waiting bays, to stop residents parking in limited waiting bays. This is to...
Where's that?
That's number
Oh,
47.
yes.
Outside the
Sally.
laundrette, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, because it's, yeah. So that's, yeah. So we'll support that because that's where it impacts, where people want to stop off and drop off and they can't get in there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mark, can I
Yes,
just...
sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
My only concern is where are they going to park?
Well, this has been a question that has come up and it has been argued that over the last 5 or 6 years, every time RCC comes up with a car parking strategy, all it does is move the car parking around the town and then they have to come up with another strategy. And this is their attempt to try and reduce it. I mean, they've put double yellow lines everywhere, they've put... You know,
But the trouble is sometimes on a Sunday, then they all start parking on that side and you just, when there's the traffic trying to get across the crossing,
yeah.
they can't get because all the residents are parked.
And on a Sunday,
On the other side.
they don't police it, so people just
No,
ignore all
do
the
what
lines.
they like.
And yeah, there's less restriction on a Sunday as well, because you
It
don't even
doesn't
have to pay parking.
Yeah.
So I can't answer that question.
No.
So as a councillor, though, you can certainly challenge that back to the county council, though. Martin.
While we're doing these parking reviews, it might be interesting if we could report back the danger of Church Street, which is something Michael picked up. If you stood by the old police station and watched how people practically drive around in from Station Road and nearly hit the parked cars.
Because the cars are parked too near to the station road.
And Michael
You can add that in
released
as
this
a...
and just
do
say,
you want to just add that the council have observed that there is a concern of how close the car park
Michael
is
raised this on the last...
Church Street and Station Road. Do we need to propose any of this?
Well, everybody's happy with just that one.
Yeah. What's this thing? Oh,
Signage.
signage. Has anybody got any problems with signage going on Cuts Close fence? Joyce first.
There's already a problem that people don't realise that Oakham Town Council is not Rutland County Council, and I will be against this and let them put their own sign up on a pole and leave our fencing alone. Sorry.
Okay. No, thank you, Joyce. Martin.
I fully support what Joyce has said. Obviously it's not a case of we own it, but these new signs that they're putting up for short-sighted drivers are horrendous.
Well, they're very small, aren't they?
Well, that's 366 centimetres
Oh,
by 262. That's huge.
So you're not...
And I think it would detract from our park. Forget the fact we might be changing the railings, but...
Same size as the
But
Okay.
But they're horrible.
I'm getting...
Yes, I said that.
Thank you.
What happens when Joyce puts her nice bunting up and covers them over? We don't get people off parking tickets.
I'm getting the impression that the town council do not support our fencing being used to put up fencing.
No.
Because it could also set a precedent. I don't think we need to vote on that, do we? We just need
spoils the
to...
appearance.
Comment back to them and say no.
Yeah, so
I think
we've got all the comments there.
maybe we need a resolution from the council to say we don't want the sign.
What I'm going to do is, it's proposed by Martin then that we reject signage on our fencing.
Yeah.
Seconded by Stan. All those in favour? Are you unanimous on this? I'm sorry, I was looking at Finn. So, so does everybody need a recap of the comments, or should we just propose that the comments that were made around the table are the council's viewpoint?
It will come as a draft minute, won't it?
Yeah.
It will come draft
Well,
minute.
it'll go out before the draft minutes are out.
Oh,
so
sorry.
just going down to approve that one. 37 approves as long as other people do not abuse the disabled blue badge bays.
Yes.
38 long row, support that one. 45, council does not support the proposal as it will block spaces and reduce potential footfall.
Yeah.
46, New Street and John Street, council supports. 47, council supports but does not support the signage on a proposed railing.
Yeah, so proposed by Finn, seconded by Stan. All those in favour? Unanimous. 14 is to consider a request to use Cuts Close. Obviously they'll be charged the normal rate of £115 a day. Anybody got any comments or observations? Are you proposing this, Martin?
Just one quick comment.
Shoot.
It's a health and safety issue. We have somebody who's quite keen for us to start paying attention to health and safety, and I'm one of those people. It's particularly relevant, the fact that we have Pinder's Circus coming. Last year I pointed out the cabling which went miles and miles all into the hut, across public footpaths, and plastic bags covering sockets. I was just wondering if somebody from the council, whether it's Adam or the clerk, is going to go down and inspect that this is not going to be dangerous, because there are young people who congregate in that area, and it was very, very dangerous the last time it was let.
We can certainly make sure that the fair are operating within a, that they're not doing anything.
Yeah. So it's not just the fair, it's the circus coming up as well.
In the conditions of contract for Pinder's Circus, who are coming next week, it is that electricity will only be used for accommodation, will not be used to power any other rides, attractions, whatever. I will go down and I will make sure that they are complying with that. And so that's part of the conditions, and it will be part of the conditions for Hollands as well.
Vince.
Just to allay any fears, Martin, the fair use 110 volts, which is in accordance with site use of electrical.
Yeah, but Richard has just said he'll go down and make sure it's only the caravans, but that's not the issue. Last year there were 12 caravans plugged into one socket, with a big distribution socket under a carrier bag, with cables all over the pavements. They need to be under safety. We could be sued if somebody's electrocuted, because that was 240 volts, that wasn't 110.
Yeah, okay, right, so thank you very much. Well, I think we picked up on the health and safety. So
I'd like to know that we are going to check that they do it properly, not just say that we've picked up on it.
No, we...
Because I should photograph it and send it if it's...
Richard has already said that he will go down and make sure everything's in order, and I would dare say maybe even a few other councils might wander down there as well. So looking for a proposal to allow...
Can I just say something?
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry, can we write into the criteria or whatever...
T's and C's?
That they take down the posters when they've put them up. They're all over this county.
Yep.
Can we get it written into the contract that where they've put them up, they take them down and don't leave it to me?
Okay. Good idea. You proposing that, Ryan?
No, what I was going to say is that when we rushed through at the beginning, or I wasn't on the council then, but I think you rushed through last year some bookings, and it was said that these terms and conditions that Mrs. Lucas has just mentioned, the whole thing was going to be reviewed, and it hasn't been reviewed, so we're working on very ad hoc
I'm going to let
terms.
yourself and Joyce bring an agenda item to the council that we review all this in.
If you would, that would be good, and then we could sort out, so everybody's treated the same. I know we've got to fees are the same now, but it's...
I acknowledge your comments. So I'm looking for somebody to propose that we allow cuts, Hollands Close, Hollands Fair.
Hollands Fair.
Get through it low. Hollands Fair to use cuts close. Proposed by Stan, seconded by Vince. All those in favour? Are you against or abstaining, Tracy?
I'm against.
Right, so that's one against. Do you want that minuted? You can have
Please.
it. And minuted by Tracy. One against.
I think it should be
sure
can we have it minuted that Adam said that he was going to review the contracts with Joyce?
No, I did not say that. I said you or Joyce. Martin.
Oh, was it me? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not used to being offered to do things.
Cracking on. Don't worry, I'll remind you both of you now.
It needs doing.
Right, item 15, cemetery maintenance payment. It's to discuss a report relating to the decision. This has come back because of a pushback after a joint cemetery working group meeting, and further information has come to light. Any comments or observations? Otherwise I will go straight to proposal. Martin.
I'm sure you would. I'm sorry. I'm not going to upset you, but last time when we turned this down, you were saying that we should pay the money to keep a good relationship with Rutland County Council. Now, I don't believe that's our business to do that. I also don't believe it's the business of officers to talk to members of this council to get the bill paid. I know that you've gone and got some basic legal advice. If I went for legal advice, I'd actually want an answer. Sorry, the clerk did. But, you know, I challenged the fact that Rutland County Council would take us to court, because if we did go to court, it would probably be quite costly for both parties. We have no agreement, whether that's our fault or Rutland County Council's, and it's something we hope as a new council we're going to improve on. There's so many things that just have been accepted we pay, which is unacceptable when we're not talking about 50 quid out of petty cash, we're talking about a sizable sum of money. It's more than I live on. You know, I just find it extraordinary that that's the way things have been done, and I'm not willing to change how I voted on it, because I don't think, whatever people say that it's nothing to do with the buildings, they don't do a good job, the contractors for the council there. If people are aware that people are complaining about the cemetery being trimmed and gravestones being damaged, and that it's horrendous, the whole thing. And we're not saying we're keeping the money for, you know, something nice. We're saying we're keeping the money for when we take it over. You keep saying we're assuming. We have voted to take it over, subject to it being in a fit state. So we need the money. You as a chairman or deputy chairman put it about that you wanted to put the precept up by 8% because of these costs. So to me, to save the taxpayer money, because we're going to give that money to Rutland County Council, and then if it is in a state in April to take it over, we're going to have to pay money.
I never said I wanted to put the precept up by 8% because of this.
Well, not publicly into that silly thing, but it was all additional cost.
We're not discussing whether we're going to take it over or not yet.
No.
We're discussing
an outstanding invoice.
Yes.
Thank you.
So can we please keep to that?
Yes, sorry.
I was at that.
Well, Martin was making some valid points, so I thought it was important
was at that meeting,
you mentioned this.
And obviously, it was explained to us why the money should be paid, and perhaps you would like to tell me.
I'm going to, what it is, when we met with the county council, which was purely, that's right, we didn't meet with them and they didn't approach us about this invoice. Let me just put that straight, Martin. When we went to see Rutland County Council, it was to do with the cemetery takeover, so it was the cemetery working group, Joyce, Stan and myself, and one of the first things that we were tackled about is that one of the councillors had heard that we'd refuse this invoice, and were we aware of the implications? And the implications were, and the only reason we didn't get questionable advice from the solicitor, we went to the town council solicitor has given us sound advice that this invoice is a legitimate invoice from Rutland County Council. It is true, you are right, Martin, as well, that there is nothing in writing that says we have had to pay this in the years or we've had any agreement in the past. However, what our solicitors sort of said that where you have paid something year on year, you've almost gone into an unwritten contract. It's a verbal contract. So we've demonstrated a contract in principle, which is why our solicitors sort of said, yeah, you could turn around and say, no, don't pay it. However, be prepared that RCC have presented an invoice, which is legitimate, which they've been doing every year, and that for us to refuse to pay it. All I've done is, if the council choose not to pay it, the council may incur costs if they get taken to court. Because if we get taken to court and it's found against us, then the court will levy the fees of the other people against this town council. So yes, and I agree with you again, Martin, £5,000 is a lot of money. It is to maintain purely the cemetery area, that's the grass cutting and that maintenance, nothing to do with the buildings, nothing to do with headstones. And that's all it was. So, and I thought that it was appropriate to do, and I suggested it came back to the town council, I suggested it to the chairman, Councillor Jewis, because of my concerns that Oakham Town Council was leaving itself exposed to litigation.
Yes.
And we could then incur further costs. The chairman who's not here, I'm not going to speak on behalf of him, but he supported me bringing it back. And so it's purely to give the whole council opportunity to reconsider if they want to pay it. I'm going to pass it back to Martin one more time. I'll come up to you in a minute, Michael, and then we'll go for a decision.
There's a comment that why didn't we point it out? I find that sort of a bit...
Where's that, Martin?
I can't remember exactly where I read it, but it said in there that we didn't point it out. Now, you're not telling me that Rutland County Council doesn't know via our committee members, via the letters from the public, in the paper, on the radio, that people are not being happy with the service that's been provided. I am personally disgusted with it. We have Commonwealth war graves in there that don't even look like they're maintained.
They're not maintained by the county council. That's not those.
No, but the grass around should be the council. So you look and they look like they're in a wilderness of rubbish. The place is full of litter if you go up there today. And that is where we fight back and say to the council, sorry, we are not paying. I've taken pictures and shown people, all the way down the fence every day. It is just full of litter.
Okay, right.
And the bins were overflowing.
I'll start
at
with
Christmas.
Michael, and then I'll be coming to Joyce, then I'll be coming to Vince. So, Michael, you were going to say something?
At the meeting when it was decided not to pay this,
yes.
I think it's fair to say that there was quite a lot of feeling bound up with the neglect that RCC have allowed to happen to the cemetery generally, and that the monies that this council has paid to them over the years has not been used. They've used the money for other things.
I'm going to challenge that straight back before we go further. Yes. Michael, thank you for mentioning that, because in actual fact, Martin, you alluded to this, I believe. We said this to them, that the perception from the councillors is that the £5,000 we've been paying year on year has not been used. RCC have turned around and they're not ashamed and they're not hiding away from this. They've actually turned around, and I'm not fighting their corner, I'm just repeating what was said. Yeah. We spend X amount of £1,000 cutting the grass, looking after the cemetery, not to the best standard, we've already accepted that. So we pay X amount of £1,000. The £5,000 that OTC pays, or £5,500 that we pay to RCC, has only been used on that cemetery. So the money has definitely been used for grass cutting and managing trees and all that.
I was going to go on to say that there was indignation about the state of the cemetery with the upcoming transfer proposed, and that got itself transferred over to whether this invoice, which is for something different, should be paid. I think that's their comment. As to whether or not there's a contract, there is a perfectly valid argument to say that even without writing, a contract has been established.
Yes,
something to refer to.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's where the facts.
And this bill is for the year ending
this year, 2/15/2/16.
2/15/2/16.
Can I come over to Joyce while you hold that thought?
I just want to make it absolutely plain. At that meeting, there was no guns at the head, where there were no threats.
No.
It was very amicable, what we were discussing. I will not have it complicated by criticism of RCC. I'm sorry, we are partners in this at the moment. The grass cutting, the trees, the hedges, the yew trees have all been trimmed over that last year, and that is what this invoice is all about. Can I just indulge by, I am getting colds, can I put my coat on? You know I have this problem.
Do we need to vote on that? Vince? Right. Okay. No.
I'm not going, I'm just cold.
We're all going. Okay, so proposal from the Vince is that we...
I was going to say...
Oh, pardon, sorry.
No, it was proposing to put the coat on. In view of the fact that it is for the year that's just going, and we have, in principle, got a contract, I would propose that we do pay it.
So we reserve the previous decision,
however, it would be with a review to a contract or words to that effect.
Yes, because if we do not, because even though we may not take over the cemetery, it has to be defined. So,
so again, we need to safeguard ourselves.
Could we not propose that this is a final and full settlement? But any future dealings has to be now in contract. We say that
I think Vince has covered that. So proposed by Vince that we pay reversal of the decision with a contract review.
But I don't want a bill for next year.
Thank you.
I agree with everything that's been said. I mean, it's appalling the state of that cemetery. I could not agree more. They agreed with it. I mean, that was established.
Yes.
But this work has been done. and I think we are honoured to pay it.
Yeah.
So I'm prepared to second
Second
it.
it. So proposed by Vince, seconded by Stan. All those in favour with the thing with the contract?
What is the wording of that, please?
With a view to an agreement being put in place for future years.
And if not, there's no future payment.
Well, we'd have to agree the contract.
Yes, so any further payment,
Yes.
we need that clarified, that any further payment. So we're cutting,
Time.
so if we don't take it on in April and they're leaving it in the state, we can say, well, we don't have a contract for you, so you're not doing it. People are complaining about the bins. And that's what was upsetting, is people were complaining. Christmas is when people
Okay, the
visit
view to an
their
agreement
families.
being put in place for future years and no further payments will be made until such an agreement is in place.
That's
Does
brilliant.
that sound?
Are you happy with that?
Yes,
Proposal?
we-
Vince, seconded by Stan. All those in
We can't
favour?
afford a legal fight.
Are you abstaining or against? Abstaining, Jasmine. Are you in favour, Martin?
I will vote in favour if
Martin's
that
in
clause is
So
put in,
everybody votes for
because
Jasmine.
we can't afford a
Abstaining.
legal fight,
Thank you.
because they might do it.
Martin, can you get the gents button?
Planning applications, hopefully, I know that Martin's been on the internet, so I've seen some of your comments and letters that you sent in, Martin.
So that.
I couldn't open up those comments. It's a blank page. Seriously.
Yeah, that was his comments.
It's dodgy, it's a dodgy system,
But
that
that,
planning
was,
thing.
that wasn't really, there were other things that were blank pages.
Okay, now some of these you'll see that the same name is mentioned twice, like for instance when we get some kind of a plan, but there's also the whatever it's
It's all
called.
unlisted building.
Yes, a list of buildings.
Right, first up,
Love three heavens.
I've not really seen these, so this is going to be down to you.
Anybody got any comments?
Reserve matters application, for members who aren't aware, a reserve matters application is where an outline planning application has been approved. The reserve matters is the
That's right, this has been passed over by.
yeah. So the reserve matters is then putting the flesh on the bone. There was this was originally turned down, I think, by RCC. Larkfleet appealed, won the appeal, and this is now the application.
And this has come about because they're finding that one bedroom bed sits aren't going, so they want to reduce down the number and increase the amount of two bedrooms according to this document. So which hopefully will sell more. So while Richard's bringing that up, has anybody got any comments or observations?
Okay, Lands and Ways here, and well, there we are.
No, Martin?
That's where it is anyway.
Yeah, I didn't actually comment online on this one, but I did note that they have the comment that they're not selling one bedroom. Well, one bedroom are diabolical to sell. Most of them always end up going
That's what
That doesn't
they're.
make sense.
They almost go.
We just read that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they end up going to auction, but what concerns me is we're told that we need these one bedroom. We have a request from Rutland County Council for some garage work in our ward, Oakham South East, because people need one bedroom accommodation. So I'm a bit torn what we do. That's why I didn't make a comment, and I wanted to see what.
Has anybody else got any observations, or is it?
I've studied it, and quite honestly, I'm prepared to propose it. Acceptance.
Okay, Vince?
Seconded.
Okay, so we have a proposal from Stan and seconded by Vince. All those in favour that this is accepted? 2, 3, 4, 6 are for. We got against?
Yes.
Martin against?
I'm against, because they
Jasmine
change
against.
everything.
And
Still
Michael?
is one.
Abstaining, so it's 3 against, 1 abstention.
3 against.
Thank you. Anybody want their names mentioned on that?
You can do,
Yeah,
they like my
people
name.
don't want to have their names down it.
It was
Jasmine, Joyce, disregard. Jasmine, Martin, and Tracy.
So can I just say, particularly for new members,
Yeah.
if you do not approve it, you have to have a very, very good reason for turning it down.
Yes.
Well, overall, it's been accepted by the council, so I'm sure that all members are more than aware of their thing. Right,
Yeah,
I
so
saw
if
it two. Yeah,
Chairman,
shoes.
just come in there. There has been sort of some comments from members that about the level of comments that come from council, committee or subcommittee regarding planning applications. Can I just say, if you want a comment in, then that should form a part of a proposal.
Yes.
We as officers are not going to send in general comments that are made during the discussions. The only thing we are going to send to RCC is what is proposed and agreed by this meeting. So in the case of that one, it will go through as recommend approval, and that will be it.
That would have been nice. Unfortunately, we were told that many moons ago, because many of us have given our time at planning subcommittees which were set up by Mr. Stubbs for the purpose of putting proper, informative comments to it, and not one of our comments went. And that is the reason I stepped down from that committee, because it was pointless.
No, thank you, Martin.
I just think that maybe we need to look at that, because it's like tonight, if we're sitting here and we're saying, oh, we don't like this and we don't like that, what are we doing sitting here?
Yeah, no,
just saying yes or no?
I'm not disagreeing.
We're asked for, sorry Chairman, we are asked for comments. We are not an approval or disapproval authority. We, under the statutory obligation, are supposed to be consulted to pass on our comments. So I would like that looked into.
Proposal then, please, Councillor.
Well, we have. We've done it many times.
Gentlemen, let's move on. Right, the second item on here is the Epic Pub Company. This is to do with the Calico's Bar, which is being refurbished, so they're going to be doing some works there. There's two on here. There's two on one, obviously, because it's a what's it building, planning consent, isn't it? Listed building. So, any comments or observations? I'm pleased to see that Calico's is going to have another lease of life. It's had more lives than Doctor Who.
Can I ask Stan if he found anything about the signage? Because I've been concerned, like some members, that we're getting a lot of illuminated signing appearing in Mill Street, and I couldn't find anything about the signing on the website.
No, nor could I. So
I think this is to do purely with the refurbishment. Maybe signage will come later on.
Well, they talk about signage.
They do talk about signage, and you know, if we haven't got Rutland County Council, when they look at these meetings, these applications, they have a case officer to talk to them about it and describe it. We don't. Right. So therefore, we have to base our opinion on what we get online, and sometimes we do not get enough information. And I've said this repeatedly.
Right. Joyce, and then I'll come to Peter.
I think probably Peter and I will agree with this one. There are too many illuminated signs. The regulation somewhere along the line does say when the building is not open, the shop is not open, the illuminated sign is switched off, except at hole-in-the-wall bank places and things like that. And we should tell them again that there's a charity shop.
That's not relevant to this.
No, but it needs to be told.
Right.
Well, I was just asking the question.
Peter, Martin.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I mean Joyce has stolen my thunder to an extent. But I did sit on the County Council Planning Committee for 8 years, so I'm pretty familiar with the jargon. And I think what we should be saying here is we want it sensitive to the street scene.
Yes.
I'm not going to keep on about Uppingham, I won't say it in other meetings, but there we virtually ban illuminated signs.
Yeah.
You'll see virtually nothing on the high street.
There's not meant to be any in Mill Street.
Okay, so are we proposing that the work goes ahead though? That's the thing that's on here. Vince?
I propose it, but I'd just like to point out it says
signage
to be redecorated.
Which painting that's?
And then if you look on application 5, it says illuminated.
Yes.
So by virtue of the fact that it's not been said and stated illuminated, I would like to move on and suggest that we accept these applications.
Okay, so we're doing both 2 and 3 because they're both associated, yeah? So proposed by Vince, seconded by Stan. For all those in agreement. Are you abstaining, Peter?
Yes, I'm abstaining.
Joyce, are you? Can I have a show of hands, please, for who's for this?
4?
Yes.
No.
Right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 3 that are. Are you 3 against?
No, I'm abstaining because I put my comment about things on that. It's the best way to do it, otherwise you're just wasting your time.
So I've got 6 votes for, 1 against, 3 abstentions.
No, there's nobody against that. Right, sorry, we're just going to go back there because I'm not getting clear indication from the table on who's for it. So this one to do with the Epic Pub, can I just have a show of hands for who's for?
Is that number 1?
No, it's 2 and 3. It's the Epic Pub Company. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, and 3 abstentions.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, recommended.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think the comments in that's going to come back in the same at some point. Can do you two want to have a separate council meeting?
Might be a good idea.
4 and 5.
Right, 4 and 5 then. This is Bagley's Dental Limited, Burley Road.
I'd sit this one out.
You're going to right, okay. So Stanley's sitting this one out. Any comments or observations? And this has got illuminated signs.
It's brilliant, is it?
It's not brilliant. It's not much better on the council website because it's well, actually, it's better than that one. What you can see on the council website is that the old signage, some of it is literally just peeling off, which is I think why they're going for the have it redone.
I would also like to comment on that particular part of Burley Road being very badly illuminated.
Yeah. So more illuminate signage is what you're saying on this one. So, Michael.
The hanging sign, which is on the extreme right hand
Yes.
of that building, you can't see it very well,
Yeah, that's been
is very decayed.
Yeah.
So this is proposing to illuminate.
Yes.
So it's in a quite a heritage part of the town. So
Mm.
no illumination.
No illumination. So does that mean right, okay? So are we? Are you making? So Peter, you wanted to say something on this one? Or not?
Dental stuff. Why do you need an illuminator?
Well,
Why did they want us to go?
Martin.
well, that was my comment I put on the website, is that not necessarily that it's a dentist, but I specifically go along the view that the rest of the town, that they probably don't need illuminated, apart from the fact they might be open at 4 o'clock in the winter, but I feel that there should be something put in our comments if the council wanted
We're not doing comments.
that
We are doing comments.
the lights, if the council decides they can have illuminated, they're turned off
Okay.
when
So
they're closed.
so what's so?
So they're not on a
Is
Saturday or
Is
Sunday.
that proposed?
Well, if you're happy for me to,
Sorry.
is that illuminated signs are not on during the out of hours.
So are you proposing that the council agrees to this new signage, that it's turned off when it's
When it's closed.
So,
Because there's too much light pollution. I've been reading up on it.
are you happy with that as your proposal, Martin?
Yes.
Seconded by
If you want to put
Peter.
it on.
All those in favour? Ooh, 1, 2,
Illuminated
3,
signs
4,
turned
5,
off.
6, 7, 4, and who's against?
No, abstain.
Abstaining? Oh, you're abstaining. 1, 2, 3 abstentions.
No, against.
All right, 1 abstention, 2 against.
Because it's so important, my vote counts.
I've abstained because I wasn't commenting on that.
No, I beg your pardon.
You're supposed to be out there. I've got to
Yeah.
go out.
And that goes to 5 as well.
Yeah, and that goes to 5 as well.
Might call me back.
Is 6 now is Rutland County Council installation of lighting protection to the Great Hall at Oakham Castle. So that's number 6. This is where they want to protect the lighting. So it's Martin proposing it.
I don't think we need to consider any of Rutland County Council's things after we've seen today, because apart from the flagpole, these applications have been implemented. They're all retrospective.
Not all of them.
Well, they've done. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Apart from the flagpole, they've already put in the grills and
Okay.
lightning
So
protection.
does anybody want to pass any other comment, or does somebody want to propose that we grant retrospective? Right. So we grant that we agree to the installation of the lighting by Vince, seconded by Stan. All those in favour?
Yeah.
You against, Martin?
No, I vote for it because it's wonderful
Oh, right, that's
what they're
unanimous.
doing.
Then.
Apart from the flagpole.
Okay. We're coming to the flagpole next. Number 8, isn't it?
No, 7.
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry, 7. Installation of a mesh window stone guards to the east gable window of the church hall. So,
Propose,
proposed, was that proposed by Jasmine? No, proposed by Joyce, I think.
Yeah, it's already in,
Seconded
actually.
by
Just go through the motion.
Jasmine.
That's what I
All
said.
those in favour? Yeah, that's unanimous.
If we said no, they wouldn't pick
Right,
it up.
if we just bypass the flagpole completely then. Erection of a one number 6 metre high white flagpole. This hasn't been done. The conservation officer was okay with it then, Martin? Looking at it.
Yes.
But then he does, sorry to say, but he does have a funny differences of opinions at
I can't
times.
say that, that would be appropriate.
But he,
We haven't got a flag tape,
but the flagpole, as far as
If
I'm
anybody's not
concerned-
sure, just one of them cuts close to the flagpole.
But, yeah, which is always empty, spoils the view of photographs. And as I pointed out in
It's
my
Photoshop.
comment, I can't Photoshop, but in my comment online I said you've only got to look outside Rutland County Council to see the state of flags and poles and what effect they have, and then they kindly took down their torn flag.
Okay.
So my concern is that it's just another flagpole to have a tatty flag on it.
Okay,
and it's
so-
not needed.
Are you proposing that they
I'm
have a flag?
proposing it's all right.
Proposed by Joyce that they erect a flagpole, seconded by Stan. All those in favour? Sorry, Vince. You look so same. So that's.
Sorry.
Show us where it's going to go. It could be on the roof. Or,
But that's Martin and Martin.
No,
I'm
against.
Against. 2.
Because it doesn't say smart, well maintained flagpole.
well, they can't maintain what they've got.
Right.
They'll be asking us to
Number
adopt
9 is Stebbins, rebuild existing outbuilding and convert part extension. Any comments or observations on this one? The only thing that concerned me is that I think that in the plans, the planning officer has alluded to the fact is that as long as it's done with the right materials, I think what it is, they've not had a brick
Well, that's-
match or a stone match yet.
Well, that's simply because it's a listed building.
Yes. So we're actually considering this will be 9 and 10 together because it's one's a listed building and one's for the actual building work. So any comments or observations?
I would like to add to acceptance
Yes.
is that we state providing the materials conform to necessary requirements.
Yes, the requirements for the listed building.
Yes.
Okay, that'll be the comments. That's a proposal by Stan, seconded by Vince. If there's no other comments, it's seconded by Vince. All those in favour? Unanimous. You've realised I can't count at last. Right.
So we just vote.
11 RPC containers. There was one comment by a lady that expressed concern about how it would look and the impact on the roads nearby. But I believe this location of this silos are actually nearer to the bypass, aren't they? Probably not visible.
So that they currently have 16 silos there, I think it is.
Yeah, they're all round the back, aren't they? And these 4 are going to be going at the front, aren't they? Or what we'll call
Well, it's on the front apron
Yes.
or the
near parallel with the bypass.
bypass, but
Yeah.
it's not very visible
No.
considering everything else is there.
Yeah. Okay, Martin.
Yeah, I see it as an employment area, not somewhere where people live. So I didn't have a problem, but I did find it interesting of how it is filling up and how we were told that these things generally aren't visible, but it is quite visible. And I think they've got to watch that it maybe doesn't come too.
So you weren't against, does that mean you propose that this is accepted then? Was that from you?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Seconded by Vince, unless there's any other comments. All those in favour? Joyce?
Sorry.
Unanimous, thank you. Number 12 is fell the tree. Joyce, have you got any feedback for us on the tree?
No, except that the yew tree is the wrong tree in the wrong place, and the sycamore is just getting so big, it's making it very dark for the flower beds and everything else. I have no problem with either.
Okay, Michael.
The yew tree could be trimmed to a shape and then, or is there a root problem, Joyce?
Yew trees, when they're trimmed, as been shown in the cemetery, once you trim them, it takes years to come back, anything like. But that's up to you. as councillors.
Oh.
Sorry, I have been voted against so often. I am just putting my point.
Okay, Martin.
I'm a tree fanatic, and I get very, very irritated that people buy properties in that particularly nice area of Oakham, which I believe a pre-preservation order means something. And just, I've actually read the lady or the residents' applications and just say that the tree, which was probably there before their house, is in the wrong place, and then I want a bit more light for my garden. I'm sorry, I can't accept that. If Joyce was to come to me and say that tree's diseased, then I would say yes, let them go. But I'm not. When you look at that area and the amount of applications that are coming in when we're told a tree is in the wrong place. Sorry,
right.
it's not good. What's the point of a PTA?
Joyce, are you proposing that the...
I have given up on it.
Does anybody want to propose?
It happens every time I suggest it.
Right.
Every time it's voted against.
Right.
So,
well, nobody's voted against it yet. We're looking for a proposal.
It's just my comment, Joyce.
Right, thank you. It's proposal. The idea is that these people are putting an application to fell one number sycamore tree and one number yew tree. The tree warden hasn't got any concerns or issues about this, and in theory supports it. So I'm looking for somebody to propose.
Can I just make a suggestion?
Shoot.
If that tree is taken down, I would agree it can be taken down provided it's replaced with something appropriate.
We can't ask that.
We can make
Yes,
a
we
comment.
can.
yes, we
Yeah,
can.
we can't make a condition of it being felt, then,
No, but we can put it as a comment. That's
yes. Okay. So proposed by Stan that that the trees are felled, and hope. This is proposed single-storey extension. This is a revised scheme.
I've just got to leave the room for this one. Will you
Sorry,
call me
Martin.
back in, please?
Do you want us to call you when we've voted on this?
Yes, please.
Stan and Martin. Okay, anybody got any observations or comments?
Have we got a plan?
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds, Joyce. I've got, one round, 13.
We're on John O'Elf, which is 13, yeah, single-storey extension. Revised scheme. Has he made it a bit smaller, I think, already?
Yes. Because
So-
a member of the family died and he now doesn't need it to be so big. I only know that from going around there this afternoon and he happened to come out of his house and told me.
So it's a porch extension on the front and a flat roof single extension to the rear.
Okay. If there's any observations or comments, anybody want to propose to accept this by Stan, seconded by...
No,
Sorry,
Stan.
Vince, I keep looking at it. Proposed by Vince.
I want to wear a
Should we change?
Yeah.
We change chairs.
Just change
Do it a
jerseys.
little bit.
Okay.
Proposed by Vince, seconded by Jasmine, thank you. All those in favour? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anybody against? And abstentions. So 2 more abstentions to move to. So that's
You're right.
5.
Yeah,
5, 4.
6 votes for 4 abstentions.
Can you get little bats?
Oh, yeah, red and green.
Four. 4 is conservatory extension. Not quite sure why conservatory came to council, but anybody got any comments or observations on the conservatory?
Nope.
Proposed Vince, seconded by Adam. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3. You in favour, Stan?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 and
I'll abstain.
abstained by Michael.
Don't want to waste time, but I question why this has even come.
I know.
Is it something to do that permitted development rights aren't, they don't have them on those estates? I think it's something like that.
Right, Mr.
This
This is
something along those lines.
look. This is 15. Then this is the Berridge cherry tree, I presume. Cherry removed tree near driveway, medium to low stump. Apple. I don't know what that means. Joyce, have you been and had a look at this tree?
I've been and have a look at it, and if you've read your road closures, they're going to close Crown Gardens, so I guess the cherry tree is the problem.
Right.
They're going to close it to cut the cherry tree down.
Look, cherries and pear trees, well, looks of it.
Well, whatever. This one is a cherry tree that the dust cart actually ran over, apparently.
Okay.
Needs removal. It's all there. It's the one on the apple tree on South Street. There.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a poor specimen, and I'm sure the gentleman in question will do something about replacing.
Okay. Anybody else got any observations or comments? Otherwise, we're looking for a proposal by Stan to agree to the works, and seconded by
Yes.
Joyce.
I mean, not do it in two parts.
Sorry.
This one is for removal and the other is just clean it up and...
There's a whole load. It's not just one tree.
It's a whole...
But everything else
one
is,
application, though, isn't it?
everything else is clean up, isn't it? But there is one removal which I would have...
To be honest, I've taken it as one application, so I was going to treat it as one
So
application.
then I have to vote against the whole thing.
Okay,
We have
so
taken
we
it
had a
apart
proposal
before.
by Stan, seconded by Joyce. All those in favour?
Of the whole application.
So that's everybody except Martin, who is against.
Yes.
Have you got that meeting?
We've split them before when there's been felling and work.
I think that it's minute to 9 and this meeting is now closed. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you.